Wagwan guys, let's talk about a problem that's way too common for freelancers, that is client closing contracts before paying. Doesn't that sound familiar? If you are new to freelancing, you may not have experienced it, but at some point in your freelance journey, you will experience this. Earlier today, a subscriber asked me a question. He said, quick question, how will you get paid for the work you already did when the client closed the contract unexpectedly? He's responding to the video of a job I recently did, and the client closed the contract unexpectedly, although I was talking about something different on that particular video because the client actually paid me and that was fair. But like he's asking in his case that what if the client didn't pay and the client closed the contract, and that is what we are examining in this video. You don't want to get to that juncture personally, and if you're experiencing this presently, come on this ride with me. So if you're on Upwork and a client shuts down a contract out of the blues, does that mean that you are out of luck? Absolutely not. Let me walk you through exactly how to protect your payment, and by the end of this video you will know exactly what to do. First, your options depend on the type of contract you are in, so let's dive in. If you have a fixed price contract with a client, just imagine you finishing the work but the client closes the contract before you could hit submit work. Panic sets in actually, right? Don't worry, there is a solution. Here is what you need to know. Clients can close contracts at any time, even if they haven't paid. But here is the good news about it all. First, funded milestone can actually save the day for you. If the client already added funds to Upwork escrow system, you can still submit your work after the contract closes, which is a good thing. Then the second thing is that there is a 14-day rule on Upwork. Once you submit a project, the client has 14 days to approve or request change or do nothing. If the client ignores the work you've submitted, Upwork will release the payment automatically to you after 14 days. But the key thing to note is that if the submit work button is still visible, use it immediately. In your case, even if you have already shared the file via messages, submitting through Upwork triggers the 14-day window. So don't just send the file to the client as a normal message, or for me, maybe most videos I send to my client, I upload it to my Google Drive and share the link with the client. Don't share that link as a normal message. Use that submit button. And it's also good that I used to try to maybe if the project is a very large project, when I've done a substantial part, I submit it through the submit now button and then get revision. So what if you miss the deadline of the job? Stay calm. Send the client a polite message, something like then the name of the client. I noticed the contract was closed. Would you mind releasing the payment for the completed work? Thanks. If they don't respond, contact Upwork support with screenshots, files, and any other communication that can actually help to build your case. Upwork is going to step in and mediate between you and the client. Maybe you can get paid part of your money or get paid all, depending on what Upwork think is right. So don't be scared of Upwork mediation. Relative to my experience with Fiverr, Upwork is actually fairer, because Fiverr will just outright, except if they've changed recently, because I've not had any reason to mediate. Except if they've changed recently, Fiverr will just support the client, and you as a freelancer, you're on your own. Okay, so let's talk about the other type of contracts, hourly contracts. For hourly work that you do on Upwork, Upwork has a time tracker and it is your best friend. Here is why I think it is your best friend. It has this hourly payment protection. If you log hours with the Upwork desktop app, which tracks activities, takes screenshots, that means it rates your mouse movements and counts maybe how active your mouse is, and takes screenshot of your screen to be sure you are working on that project, which serves as an evidence to Upwork that you actually worked on that project. So for hourly rate contracts, that means the client is agreeing to pay you based on the time you spend on the project, not exactly the result of the project. Although for me personally, I want to get the client a very good result that justifies the time I spend on it. But the contract is more based on the time spent. So Upwork hourly rate protection actually ensures that you get paid even if the client disappears out of the blues or just ghosts you. To qualify for this hourly rate protection, one, you need to use an hourly contract with a client who has a verified payment method. So when a client sent you an offer, you might want to check if the client has a verified payment method. And this doesn't necessarily mean the client is a scam or mischievous or anything. Sometimes some people are new on Upwork and they don't even know that they are supposed to verify their payment and they just want to hire you. So you just put them through. Then secondly, always log in your time through the time tracker. Manual entries are not protected actually. So if you are using manual time, which sometimes you might need, just know that you are running at the risk of not having your payments protected. So I use manual time only for clients that I already trust. Then keep your work diary up to date with clear notes. It's important that, you know, some of us, you just want to continue working and you are not updating the notes. Okay, now I am sorting and assembling the video. Now I am researching for the bureaus. Now I am doing this. Like, you want to be updating. Maybe Upwork would even remind you maybe like every 30 minutes or every 1 hour to update it, because those are your evidence. Those are the things that will protect your payment in case of any dispute or the client not wanting to pay. So if you use manual time and you don't enter these little details, that means you are just trusting the client honesty. And most clients, to be honest with you, are actually honest and would not want you to work and not pay you. To avoid stories that touch, just use a time tracker. Okay, so now let's talk about how to avoid payment headaches, like any form of client not paying you. The first thing is that you need to verify escrow funding. Never start a fixed price contract until the client funds the milestone. So the fact that they've sent you an offer and you've accepted it, you need to check first whether the milestone the client wants you to start working on has been funded. That means, like, if the client wants you to work on something, he must have made a payment to Upwork. The payment may not have been released to you. The payment being with Upwork for the main time is what is called an escrow. So you want to be sure that the milestone is funded, and if the client haven't funded the milestone, you can politely remind them that please fund the milestone so we can get started on time. Then number 2, you need to break projects into milestones. You know, for example, you can split a $500 project into 10 $50 project. That's just to like minimize your risk. That is, if the client turns out to be maybe like a scam client, you have just done 1 of 10 projects and you have just lost $50, than you doing maybe like, okay, $1,000 project and you did the whole 10, and at the end of the 10 you realize the client is a scam client. That won't really be cool. Do you get? So you want to break down the project into milestones such that you can finish a part, get paid, you can complete another phase and get paid. So let's talk about number 3 thing, is that submit your work through Upwork. I think I've already mentioned this. I just want to emphasize this a little more and talk about some other parts of it. Always use the official Upwork submit work button under the contract. You know, messaging the file directly won't trigger a payment protection and can bring about stories that touch. So number 4, keep your communications with clients on Upwork. This creates a paper trail if dispute arises between you and the client. Upwork cannot track your conversation with the client that happened on WhatsApp, that happens on other platforms aside Upwork. So you want to keep your conversation on Upwork. That's just a basic rule on Upwork that, you know, if you flaunt, it can be seen as circumvention. Okay, number 5, log in your time properly for your hourly contract. Always use a time tracker with the desktop app. Most freelancers skip this step and they risk losing money. But you understand that you need to protect your hard-earned cash. So if this video is quite helpful to you, you can give it a thumbs up, hit the like button. It actually means a lot to me because it's one of the ways I know that I'm not just wasting my time doing this. And please, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I make more valuable videos like this. You can check out my other videos, whether you want to learn about Upwork or you just want to learn about maybe like getting a 9-to-5 job, or you want to learn about getting remote job, or you're interested in my videos about positioning yourself for job applications abroad that can give you visa and stuff like that. So anything in this cycle of what I just said, you would find me making content about them. If you comment now, most likely I would respond to you. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.